Hi guys, it's Mark Zickery, Mr. Sci-Fi, also known as Mark Zickery of Space Command. So I'm here in another one of my shirts from my London trip. An astronaut taking a selfie. Pretty great shirt. And so just wanted to check in. Our Kickstarter campaign is going well. We've raised almost $50,000. If we can clear 100,000, that'd be probably about 120 with all the fees they take out and all that stuff. That'd go a good way toward shooting our 4 of Space Command, which we're ramping up to do. We had a big meeting today talking about laying out how we're going to shoot, what we're going to shoot, and it's all very exciting. And also, I'm still selling Space Command shares at $7,500 each, and that will, if we raise another 100,000 that way, then we can roll camera and get that in the can, which I very much want to do. And we're laying out Space Command moving forward, the Showrunners Network, all the stuff I'm working on. But here's an idea I had, and I thought this would be very exciting. Now that we've finished the first hour of the show, I've been talking about having a premiere at Grauman's Chinese when we have the 2 hours done, but I don't want to wait for that really. So, but I also don't want to take the money for that event out of our production budget. So here's my thought. I talked with David Bartlett today, our co-producer on the show, and Elaine, and they tell me it'll cost about $5,000 to mount this premiere. And here's basically what it would be. It would be, I'm thinking maybe like April 25th at Grauman's Chinese, a red carpet premiere, the whole 9 yards, and we'd have a little finger food or whatever, and we'd show the hour, and we'd have a panel with our cast, whoever's in town and not shooting, and some of us, the writers, directors, producers, etc. And we'd talk about it. We'd maybe show some things that are coming up, some scenes that haven't been put out yet, and so we have to raise $5,000. So I've set up a GoFundMe campaign that's listed just down here along with our Kickstarter campaign. And the GoFundMe campaign is specifically to raise the $5,000. So if you want to put in $1,000 or whatever, or $5,000, you'll be a VIP guest at the premiere. We'll give you a tour of the studio. We'll take you to dinner with some of our cast and myself, a nice dinner here in LA. You'd have to fly out here on your own dime and put yourself up on your own dime, but we would, treat you like the royalty you are. So anyone who puts in 1,000 up to 5,000 or more, of course, 10,000 would be fine too, will get all of these perks that we've talked about. Some of you have already ordered the perk where you get a ticket to the red carpet premiere, and that'll be great, and so forth. So if that works for you, that'd be great. I'd love to do it. It will be just before we start shooting, so there might even be a way of coordinating that with being on the set for the shoot. And so that's about it. Tons of stuff coming. I'm going to be posting a Mr. Sci-Fi video, 1 per day. That's the plan. I'll be talking about some of these books behind me. I'll be doing all sorts of stuff. And meantime, we're just, really rocking along, and it's a fascinating challenge to be juggling all these balls. But fortunately, I'm a TV guy, so it's what I do, and lots of stuff to talk about, and and again, it's exciting to be part of this world. It's people think of Hollywood as dog eat dog, but it's not really that at all. We're very supportive of each other. We're very rooting for each other. I mean, I'm glad, for all the challenges in Star Trek Discovery and Picard, etc. I'm glad they're doing them. I think they're overall good shows, well-intentioned shows with a good heart, shows with talented casts. That's true, of course, of The Expanse and The Orville and many of these shows that we have on now. I'm looking forward very much to season 3 of Westworld. And, it just keeps going. And but okay, let me show you something that is part of science fiction history. So Harlan Ellison talked about, on a tape that he did, the famous Star Trek writer Harlan Ellison, about in the days in the 1950s that people were writing stories for the magazines for like a penny a word, 5 cents a word, the science fiction magazines. There'd be a certain day in New York when the publishers would get the covers, and they would commission the covers before the stories were written. And so Harlan would race to whatever magazine got its cover in that day and rhapsodize about that cover, talking about a brilliant story idea he had. And he said the hardest one of all was one that showed a woman sunbathing on a rooftop with a giant praying mantis peering over the roof at her. And so I actually hunted down that issue, and sadly I never got Harlan to sign it, but there it is. And this was the inspiration. When I heard about this was the inspiration for Far Beyond the Stars on DS9, because I thought, wouldn't it be cool that there's this illustration of the DS9 space station, and that gives him the inspiration, that gives Jake Sisko's character, Benny, the inspiration to write a story about Deep Space Nine, projecting a future where all these races and cultures would get together and collaborate and cooperate. And so this is the start of it, when Harlan talked about this cover. And so someday I'll have to frame that along with the fake magazine cover of DS9 that they gave me, and that'd be very, very fun. So anyway, that's about it for now. Lots to talk about soon. Feel free to send me questions or thoughts or suggestions for Mr. Sci-Fi videos you'd like to see. Again, it's markzickery@gmail.com, 323-363-1259 if you want to buy Space Command shares. You know, it doesn't take a lot to make this machine go, but it takes something, and I'm very excited. We're posting the first hour for all the backers and investors. We've sent out the completed first half hour with trailers for 5 more hours of Space Command and a featurette introducing Lieutenant Delaney Chilton, played by Angelique Scott. And we're also releasing the first hour as webisodes, and we're up to webisode 4 on Mr. Sci-Fi, and you should subscribe and ding the bell and all that stuff. So that's about it for now. Thanks for everything. It's great to be here, and we'll talk really soon. Bye, guys.